Guys, welcome back. I've got a video here from Mike Stays, and it is this English tower survived Henry VIII in a Civil War attack. So, I have no idea about this video, but as you know, I love history, love learning about some English British history. So that's what we're gonna do today. Gorgeous houses here. Um, but I will link this video in the description. Go check out Mike, go check out his videos. Hopefully, this is a good one. I'm sure it will be. And then I'll also have links in the description over to Patreon and links to how you can support the channel here on YouTube. If you haven't checked either of those out, what are you guys doing? Go check it out. All right, let's go ahead and jump in.
Just a few steps from York's busy Bootham Bar, on this misty morning lies one of the city's quietest, most atmospheric streets, Marygate. If you are visiting York, it's easy to walk past Marygate and be
Sorry, I I just wanted to go back. These houses are adorable. I love these. They you can, in New York and stuff. They typically call these like brownstones. Um, Especially here where they have the little basements down there that usually you can walk down to. There might be a little gate over there. And then some areas like here around North Carolina, they call it just like townhomes. I love these. I just think they're so cute and adorable.
atmospheric streets, Marygate. If you are visiting York, it's easy to walk past Marygate and be totally unaware that this peaceful lane once formed the defensive edge of one of England's richest abbeys, and that the tower at its corner once faced, and just about survived, a civil war. Today, it's lined with pretty houses and a bright red telephone box. But beneath the calm, Marygate tells a story of power, independence, and conflict. Marygate takes its name from the great St. Mary's Abbey, whose vast precinct once dominated this area of York. The word gate here doesn't mean a door. It's from the Old Norse garter or gater, meaning street. So Marygate literally means Mary's Street.
That's gorgeous.
Long before this street existed in Roman times, the land just beyond the city walls was used as a burial ground. By the Middle Ages, the Benedictine monks of St. Mary's Abbey built their own outer perimeter here, a vast walled enclosure separating their sacred grounds from the bustling city beyond. It wasn't just a boundary wall, it was a statement of independence. The abbey was answerable directly to the crown, not to the city of York. And the wall, complete with corner and intermediate towers, was a statement of that power. The abbey precinct wall stretched nearly a kilometre around the complex, enclosing churches, gardens, dormitories, workshops, and even a mill by the River Ouse. The wall was built in stages, beginning around 1266, then raised, extended, and crenellated around 1318, when northern England faced raids and civil unrest. Around the perimeter stood several major towers and several smaller intermediate towers between them, which we'll take a look at later. This important corner tower survives intact today, St. Mary's Tower, at the corner of Bootham and Marygate. The tower was both defensive and symbolic, a watchtower for the Abbey Guards. The Abbey was a wealthy and influential Benedictine establishment until its dissolution in 1539, and the tower looked outward toward Bootham Bar. marking the line between the Abbey's world and the city's. St Mary's Tower was built around 1324, a solid stone structure, circular on the outside, octagonal inside, about 34 feet across and 2 stories high. But its calm appearance hides a violent past. During the siege of York in 1644, in the English Civil War, the tower became a battleground, as Parliamentarian forces, under the command of the Earl of Manchester, surrounded the city. They mined beneath the tower, setting off explosives that caused part of it to collapse. After this Civil War damage, the tower was rebuilt, and you can still see the difference in the stonework. The rebuilt section is thinner and slightly curved, a visible scar from the 17th century. So next time you pass, look closely. You're seeing architecture that survived explosives.
Man, yo, this is really cool. I can't stop thinking about like if you were living in one of these houses to be able to like look outside your window and be able to see this history and just it's so pretty. I would love to move over there one day. I would love to live in one of these houses, but also like York is one of the areas I really really like. I have actually gone on my phone and looked at some of the housing and stuff over there. How is like as far as the cost of living and getting like uh a townhome or something like that? As far as like, I mean, I know like London's probably going to be the most expensive area, but I really like the York area a lot. But like, what, in your all's opinion, is the best place to live to have like access to like the city like this? To have like, I'm sure every area's got the history, but like, just like as far as your cost of living, housing, affordability, and all that, um, like, and is York an area where maybe some of you guys do live there? Do you like it? You know, is that somewhere you'd want to go if you don't? Let me know. One thing I have considered doing for the channel is maybe going and just looking at some of the housing and like the real estate and stuff like that. I know the houses are set up a little bit different than it is here. We're really big on like that open area concepts now. Um, most houses have that set up, even the ones that are, you know, a little older. They've kind of knocked down walls and stuff for the most part, any of them that are updated. Um, but I like old houses too. Where I grew up in West Virginia, it was a lot of brick homes and there were duplexes. I grew up living in a duplex at one point. Um, but I just I just like that. Let me know in the comments if that's something you guys would be interested in like seeing is like checking out some of the real estate and the areas and stuff like that. Let me know in the comments and if there's videos you want me to take a look at, send them my way.
Sieges and centuries of good old British weather. St Mary's Tower wasn't alone. The Abbey's walls once had their other great towers, one at the northwest corner near today's Marygate car park and the River Ouse, one at the southwest corner near the Abbey's mill, and one at the southeast corner close to the Museum Street entrance of the museum gardens. Along this part of the wall along Bootham we can see the intermediate Tower D, which is fire damaged, as you can see here from the other side of the tower, located inside museum gardens. Here down at the River Ouse we can see the water tower on Marygate Landing, once a 2-storey tower which has been built around over the years to protect the city from flooding. St Mary's Abbey was indeed a small fortress within the city of York. By the 13th century, houses had appeared along Marygate itself, probably belonging to the workers and tradesmen serving the abbey. After the dissolution of the monasteries in the 1530s, the abbey sadly was closed and its lands taken by Henry VIII's crown. For a time, St Mary's Tower was used to hold records used by the Court of Augmentations, the office that managed former monastic property. In later centuries, Marygate became more domestic. Elegant Georgian terraces, river access, even small industries like tanneries and coal yards along the Ouse. Today, it's one of York's most desirable residential streets, peaceful, historic, and still edged by the Abbey's medieval wall.
So it's probably pretty expensive. I'm not surprised. Um, it just looks so nice.
And here's a quirky detail. The classic red K6 telephone box standing proudly next to St Mary's Tower isn't just a bit of nostalgia, it's actually a listed structure in its own right. Designed in 1935 by Sir Giles Gilbert Scott, the same architect behind Liverpool's Anglican Cathedral, the K6 was created to mark King George V's Silver Jubilee. The one here on Marygate is Grade 2 listed, meaning it's legally protected, just like the medieval tower beside it. A 14th century tower and a 1930s phone box, side by side, both celebrating their own kind of British heritage. What makes Marygate so special is how it condenses 1,000 years of York's story into a single street. Roman burials beneath your feet and medieval monks behind the wall, cannon fire from the Civil War, and now a modern day street which maintains a historic charm. Few places in the city feel so unchanged. The stonework may be worn, but the sense of history is still alive in every step. So next time you visit York, don't just stop at the Minster or the Shambles. Walk a little further to Marygate, and you'll find a fortified street that guarded faith, power, and pride for centuries. If you enjoyed exploring York's hidden corners, hit subscribe for more forgotten stories behind England's most historic streets.
That was a really good video. I really enjoyed that. I subscribed to the channel. Hopefully he lets us use this. Maybe we can go through and look at some of his other videos because I really enjoyed that. So like I said, I will link Mike Stays this particular video in the description. Go check him out. Because it looks like he puts out some really good videos. Really enjoyed the pictures, the video, um, and obviously the detail, the history of it all. Um, do you guys still have like working telephone booths uh throughout the cities? We don't have them so much anymore. Every once in a while you might come across them, but usually it's like inside somewhere. Um, I was actually at a restaurant about a week or two ago, and it had an old English telephone booth in it, but it wasn't like working. It was just a novelty. But yeah, great video. Really enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys did too. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. Go check out Mike Stays and have an awesome day. Thanks for watching, guys.